We're going to pivot on now to previewing the 3 games that are happening this weekend. Starting, of course, with this Friday evening's game, the only Friday evening game of the championship. It's taking place in Paris at 8 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time.
Is it 8? Oh, okay.
Late enough one. It's France against Wales. And
we touched on it before, but that's the big game.
In terms for both of these teams, it matters massively. The way the calendar works for Wales is if they win this game, they're probably going to go into those last 2 games, which are tough games, but they're probably going to go in 3 from 3.
Yeah.
Win one of those games, you got 4 wins.
Serious.
Win 2 of them, you got yourself a slam. So winning this game for Wales would be massive. For France, it's everything, because they have to go to Dublin, they have to go to London. They really, really could do with a win to open their tournament. They knew that last year and put everything into trying to beat Ireland, and just came up short
against what proved to be last year the second best team in the world. So there's no question that France still have it on their day in Paris. They still have that performance that is stifling, physical, and very intimidating to play against. And like Wales, for such a momentum team, could get knocked off of it. Their train doesn't even leave the station if they manage to get upset here. And is it an upset? I'm trying to rationalise who the favourites are, because Wales are obviously coming off, as we've said, a tremendous year and are a very, very good team and have a lot of depth and have the most settled coaching ticket of any of the teams in the tournament, and it's all leading me to believe they're favourites. But France in Paris on day one is a dangerous prospect.
If you're a Jacques Brunel, I'm very curious to see how you approach this. Because he's obviously approached games in so many different ways as the coach. Like when you're talking about Wales and what you want to do with Wales, there's obviously just that little. Jonathan Davis just back from injury. He isn't the sharpest defender at 13 anyway.
No, it's true.
Do you spin the ball and attack them and really go for it early doors? Of course, risking turnovers, mistakes. Wales having the ball, Wales being able to tire you out. I would back Wales. I'd back Wales
covering the kicking game.
I'd back Wales' fitness, but in terms of how they approach it, like I'd almost it's sort of a heads up between trying to picking your young guys, your Fofanas, your rock star guys, and throwing them in there and trying to get them to score tries, or being sort of like they were last year in the Six Nations, very tight, playing territory and not allowing Wales to impose their game on you and not allowing Wales to tire you out. Slowing the pace of the game down, exiting well, using your kicking game to put them under pressure, make them constantly have to exit. Is that a smarter play, slowing Wales down and containing them and making it a dogfight?
Or is it break it all up and back your crazy flim-flam against Wales' crazy flim-flam? Both sides have that in spades as well, but
Wales are probably fitter. Would be probably the deciding point for me, and especially when France have such a big pack, you see them cease to become, like you saw in the All Blacks in those 3 games against the All Blacks, just how ineffective they became as the match went on, because they just got tired and then they got slow getting around the corner, and then it was just try after try after try after try.
That was the end of a season where this is the start of one.
I think the point still stands.
I think you're probably right.
I guess I'm sort of talking myself into leaning towards being more conservative, backing Lopez and whoever you pick at 9, which is a decision in itself.
True.
I'd like to see them back Saran. I know Dupont has been brilliant, but he's been in the squad. I would put Dupont on the bench and give him a run out, but I would like to see them back Saran and give him a go.
Maybe to kind of rate Dupont as a more solid option than Saran, and I also think Saran is more of a kind of a game breaker off the bench than Dupont maybe is as well. But then
I think Saran's kicking game might be better though. And I'd like to see. I'd like to give him the test of putting in a Conor Murray performance, of actually putting the ball in behind the Welsh back 3. It is an area where Wales are vulnerable. They play that Sean Edwards defence. The back 3 bite in a bit.
They do.
Lee Halfpenny tends to them, as Rob Kearney does for us, covering the whole backfield. There is no Lee Halfpenny this week.
So it'll be Liam Williams, who is less adept at that. He's good at many things, Liam Williams, but he's not as good a reader of just that. He's just left with a lot to do, because Welsh wingers, all of them, tend
George North and Steph Evans, more than others even, they very much creep up into the line. So there's going to be space to kick it into. The question is whether France will first of all try to play that game. Second of all, are going to execute and are going to find that space and pin Wales back, and then it just becomes a case of you have to exit. your forwards have to do a lot of work. You have to secure your own line-out ball, and then that's where France's pack is going to be comfortable down in their territory, forcing them to exit, giving you the ball, and you a chance to impose yourself in the game, and then maybe chipping it back down into the corner and just keeping them pinned back. I think that might be the most prudent way to play Wales if you're France. The other
it up
option,
with a few chips over the top. I like that. I like that set play against that Sean Edwards defence is good. Just a little dink over the top and have your Fofanas chasing it.
I would say pick the flair guys. Pick your I would say probably Dumaru and Fofana in the centre, but Penaud on one wing. I would put Thomas Ramos at fullback over Médard, and then get all those guys.
Who's on the other wing then?
Who is on the other wing? Huget, possibly Huget.
Médard.
No, Huget over Médard anyway. And maybe I'm forgetting someone. Obviously, there's no Teddy Thomas. But Huget and Penaud for now anyway.
Yes, that can change.
But so you have that flair option, but I would say as a first up game plan, put it on Saran and put it on Lopez or Dupont if you pick him, to put the ball in behind them, to pin them back, to get loads of territory. To make the game scrappy and low scoring early doors, and then pick your moments to strike and attack, as they did against Ireland in that game that worked right up until the 80 whatever minute last season. They were in that, they knew they weren't as good as Ireland, but they defended really well, played the territory game really well, kept Ireland from scoring and kept Ireland at bay and kept within a score, and then Teddy Thomas had his magic moment which nearly stole the game.
It's always a factor. You do predict magic moments in that Stade de France. They're good for some. They normally are good for one or two a game against whatever opposition. So it's like maybe try and constrict things, tighten it up. As for Wales, they're going to want to chop that ferocious carry game that France are inevitably going to bring, particularly in the first half in Paris in the first game. It's going to be like a big defensive shift. So their technique has to be on point. Whoever they pick in the back row have to be stopping people, and if they're not, that's where danger lies. If they're losing to too many of those collisions and then suddenly their defence has to retreat rather than advance, that's where the danger could lie for them. They'll want to get that aspect of their game right first, which is what they were focusing on in autumn as well. And then they do want, there's still question marks as to who the halfbacks are going to be, but they want them using every inch of grass on that park to move that pack around and be quick.
Running the ball is key from side to side. It tests the French defence. I'd like to see when France have the ball, I'd like to see them also just test the integrity of the French offensive clean out. First of all,
they always do that against any team anyway.
Exactly,
they're good for getting in there and just spoiling.
Attack that pill, see if you can get a few turnovers. I mean, France obviously, they've Wenceslas Larrey and Camara and Pick'em will probably be the back row.
True.
That's it's a decent back row, but probably not ideal for clean outs. And then you've Van Mahina, who can be quite lazy in the clean out. Torre is a young guy, so there's perhaps profit there in just attacking that pill. Certainly, if you have a guy like Tipuric in there, that can be his job. And then outside of that, the only real
Tipuric and Ken Owens will go for some.
Ken Owens, of course, absolutely.
But they're all even their locks. Wales, I rate them as tending to be better in that area.
Alan Lynn always has a big one.
Well, it's not even with steals. They're just combative. There, they make the breakdown a fight every time, and they make you make your clean outs. And if you're not, they find turnovers, and it can be any number in the Welsh jersey that finds it, because so many of them are doing that kind of work anyway. Just not even to steal, but to slow and to allow that time for their defensive line to put that unbelievable pressure on that they really do want to bring. So, should all that go their way, I do back them as the better side, and I think that they will grab tries and ultimately take the game off that. But that's where I'm very interested to see what happens at the very start of the game, and if France are rampaging over them, because that could happen. And
the other thing is as we pointed out when we were talking about France, that there is that outside channel. I actually back the Welsh D on inside channels no matter who they're against.
True.
It we've seen it with Ireland over the years since Sean Edwards has been there, that they just don't let you in that way. No matter how much forward carrying you do around the fringes, they're just
not where the try lies.
But they do have perhaps I love Jay Davis. I think he's one of the best attacking centres in the world, but defensively his reads can be skewed a lot of the time, and he can make mistakes, and France obviously could light it up. They're not playing Bastro this week, so
that'll be interesting. That's a good statement of intent if I'm right in reading that into it, that they do want to go a bit wider, a bit faster.
It's probably a counterpoint to my suggestion of how to play the game, but you never know.
Don't know. Well, I still do think you want to strike a backline that can strike with for
a
both
lot
of these teams.
a lot of pace. That's going to be just
Speed.
something for Wales to have to worry about.
Yeah.
If nothing else.
Yeah. And then the selection of people like Penaud on the wing, it's been like I kind of don't mind some of that. They had like in terms of having kind of converted centres out there, so that they're at least protecting their own ball when they go to deck out there.
Yeah.
Some stuff like that can pay dividends. I'm just curious to see what it stacks up. Like, how wide are they willing to go early on? Are they going to be, are players like Penaud going to be getting on the ball at all, or is it going to be like the first half comes and goes and it's like, oh yeah, Penaud's playing, and you're just like, yeah, you know.
I would be okay with that if they were playing the game in the right parts of the field. I think the danger in going straight to the back line and trying to tear Wales open is if it doesn't come off, it's going to rattle your confidence. You're going to make mistakes and you're going to play Wales into the game.
True.
And you're going to tire your big forward pack.
Yeah.
So I just think
do they have the systems in place? Do they have the shape to be putting some of their big ball carriers, putting your Wenceslas-Laurets up against your Hadley Parks and Jay Davises in the midfield, trying to work clever little plays to get the carries happening, just not quite around those fringes? I don't know if I can back their shape to create that kind of spot, that kind of intricate.
No,
like
that's not how they do it. It'll be individuals making reads if things do come off for them in offense. But to start the game, I would like to see them just play territory and get Wales pinned back and kick well and kick smart. From Wales's perspective, I think that backfield issue is a concern. Like Ireland without Rob Kearney that we were talking about a little earlier. You know what
who's covering the space?
Who's covering
There's
the space?
a lot of grass there, boys.
Are they going to adjust their defence and have maybe Steph Evans or George North go back and cover some of that space, or even whoever's playing at 10?
It still leaves that concern, because I just as classy as those operators are, like you're saying, ball in hand, I just don't rate them as amongst the world's elite as far as that aspect of that positional play. Like just minding that backfield.
Maybe if they pick Patchell or Anscombe, both of those guys have experience at 15.
True.
That from a defensive point they could drop into the backfield. That could be a huge if France go that route. That could be the way to defend it.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, it's maybe a good call for either starting Patchell or Anscombe.
It's certainly for the Ireland game, because that's how Ireland would like to attack Wales, because Wales have such a ferocious defence and a great turnover game. Ireland probably kick against Wales more than any other side, I would dare say. But France, I think it's a good tactic against Wales. But I just don't know if they're going to do it.
Going to your head then, who's going to be at 10? Because we still don't have the team, so it's like, who's going to be at 10 for Wales steering that ship?
I don't know. I don't think
it'll
be
Jared
Williams
at 15.
Yeah,
which means that Anscombe's probably more in the running for the 10 jersey than the 15 jersey.
Could be Anscombe at 15.
Anscombe at 15 and Patchell on, and then you have two.
Anscombe at 10 and Patchell at 15.
Options.
Yeah. Dan Bigger have a shout.
Dan Bigger have a shout. Does he? I don't know. The Scarlet.
I don't think Jared Evans has a shout.
No, I don't. But it's good that he's getting exposed to it.
I think he's very good.
Yeah, I think he's actually really good. In a Cardiff team that's like so light in the pack, he creates a lot of good tries in that back line. So he's a good option too.
But I don't know. They don't yet have someone standing out as 10. I rate the guts and the ballsiness of Dan Bigger probably ahead of most, just mentality wise. Like a big kick in a big moment.
Yeah, if you're looking for that kind of this is our general, he's taking us there. If that's what they want. But if they want a rotation there, then maybe Dan Bigger I don't think fits into that slot as well.
I think on balance between in terms of fitting into the Welsh rotation from last year, you're thinking either Patchell or Anscombe. I think on balance Patchell is probably just slightly the better rugby player of the two.
I think he's probably slightly the better 10. I don't know about rugby player. I think he actually is slightly the better 10 than Anscombe. But then I actually prefer what Anscombe brings from fullback to what Patchell brings from fullback. I think on counter attack he's very slick. But I like Liam Williams there too. So I don't know.
Even if you have Liam Williams in there, you might have one of them defending at fullback, depending on the context of what France do.
Yeah. It's all interesting. It's definitely it's a tough game to call. I think we're leaning towards Wales.
I think I'm definitely.
You're doing Wales. Your predictor thing of like who's the better rugby team. The Wales are the better rugby team, so that should be the factor. But it's Six Nations, it's week 1, it's Paris.
No, listen,
they go any number of ways.
The thing about making predictions is like gun to my head, I don't know. That's the real answer.
It's true.
Other than that, we're tossing coins and making permutations. But that's the whole point of this conversation. Is we don't even know how France are going to approach this game. We don't know how Wales are going to approach this game. There's so many intangibles that making a prediction is just a bit hollow.
Seems a bit hollow.
Talking about the game is probably better for it.
Yeah, for sure. So it's an exciting one. We're looking forward to it. It's a great curtain raiser.
And a huge game. And the other thing, is there's so many permutations and so many plans and schemes and thoughts that are going to go into it. and then the actual result matters tremendously in the context of the championship. Yeah.
To literally every team in it, this informs a lot of what's to come. Thanks for watching the Overlap Rugby podcast. If you want to subscribe, there should be a button up here. Don't forget to give us a like and share with your friends, and please leave comments down below. We love the conversation. Thanks.